It's Free Friday, guys. TGIF Free Friday, y'all. We made it. We made it through a good old hot week. We up this morning. You know, God spare our lives, our eyes open. You laying on your back, we made it. You made it. Y'all, we're going to talk about unrealistic comparisons. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I do not wait on people to come on the live because people are going to watch the replay. But if you are coming on the live a little bit later, you're going to watch the replay. Have a happy Free Friday. Freedom starts in the mind. Freedom starts with you being free from the things that keep you in bondage, because we don't believe in being in bondage. We believe in getting up. Even if you down and you happen to get knocked out, but you're going to have to get back up. You're going to watch that movie Creed. Creed and Rocky, when they get knocked down, they get up. They train hard. They might got a few bruises, but they get up. They get up swinging. They go hard. So that's what we on. Like, you know, we on just being able. Hey, thanks for watching, Joshua. We on being able to keep swinging even when life throws, you know, you get those little hard knocks. You know what I'm saying? You keep going. You don't stop, give up. You know what I'm saying? And ways to do that, we got to think about comparison is another important thing too, that have, you know, people kind of in limbo. Comparison. You got to be careful about comparison. You don't want to do the unrealistic comparison. And I'm going to talk about that and how that too can kind of trip you up and slow you down. You want to be able to focus on realistic stuff. You want to be able to, you know, be fair with yourself. Be fair. Just be. You got to start. It starts with self. You know, be fair in just in how you treat yourself, what you comparing yourself to and with. And I also too want to encourage you. If you ever been humiliated, you ever been knocked down and humiliated around people, God is going to ensure that your comeback going to be strong in front of them same individuals. If you ever face humiliation, I just want to encourage somebody. If you ever face humiliation by any sort, you was humiliated, embarrassed in front of people, God is going to make sure, God going to get that lick back. God is going to make sure that you going to come up much stronger. That's how God works. So keep your eyes on the prize. Don't faint. Don't give up. Keep your eyes still. You know what I'm saying? Because God gonna get that lick back for you. So just stay encouraged. You know what I'm saying? For every setback, there's a come up. For everything, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen for you. Okay. So unrealistic comparison. It's like, who are you comparing yourself to and with? Think about it. What it is that you comparing yourself with, who it is that you trying to keep up with, who it is that you doing unrealistic comparison with. Think about that. Unhealthy comparison leads to it leads to depression, it leads to anxiety, and it also leads into you deceiving yourself. That's why it's so unhealthy. You know, you have an unrealistic comparison, that it leads to those things. That's why we say just be careful of, you know, who you following. Be careful of putting yourself down because you didn't get the same outcome as as person A got. You just kind of want to be fair to yourself and not judge yourself harshly and critical, and don't compare yourself. That's why we talk about that. Unhealthy comparison leads to feelings of less than. When you start comparing yourself with somebody, like a family member, friend, co-worker, anybody, a parent, anybody, it leads to feeling like less than. You know what I'm saying? So be mindful of that unhealthy comparison. Okay. And then when you have unhealthy comparison, it makes you focus on your shortcomings versus on focusing on the things that you are doing, the things that you do have in motion, the things that you have in faith on. So it leads you to just to focus on failure, because this person is doing it faster, and you looking at that, then you looking at yourself, and I ain't as fast as this person. You start to down yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it allows you to focus on shortcomings. Okay, unhealthy comparison leads to envy and resentment. When you start to compare yourself with other people who look like they have gone further along it starts to, if you don't check it, it leads to envy and resentment. You start to envy, and the Bible tells you, do not covenant. You know what I'm saying? You envying, and now you just want that person life. You want what that person have. You just all on what that person got going on instead of focusing on your journey and being thankful for what you got. So that's what it does. Unhealthy comparison is distractions from your goal. It distracts you from your goals. And what you focus on, you focusing more on the other person. Like I said, you focusing more on those personal achievement. What that person doing. Like, it's like you watching TV, like you watching the movie, because you just focusing more on them than you do working on your goals. When the last time did you check your to-do list? When the last time you created some goals for yourself? When the last time you went back in that old, like that vision board you wrote and vision journals and stuff like that? When was the last time that you go check it, look at that to see how far you've come? When the last time you watch an old video or look at some old photos to compare like how much you've grown? Not to compare negatively, but how much that you've grown. That's why too, whenever you do vision boards, vision journals, and stuff like that, do not throw those stuff away. That should be more like a comparison. I don't throw away vision boards and stuff like that. Stuff that I like when I do like resolutions and visions and stuff like that, I don't throw those things away. I still have things I've written years ago, like when I first started blogging in 2020, probably stuff I got from college. I still keep those things. So don't throw away things. So now you can look back whenever you feel yourself slipping or falling, you go back to that. That's the whole purpose of you going back to watch your old videos, or you go back to look at the things you wrote about yourself, or your journal, your diaries. You using that as more of a motivation. So that's what you do. So when the last time you did that? Because if you focusing and comparing yourself with other people, you ain't even going back, gauging your life and watching stuff that you need to improve. It's a distraction, guys. It's a distraction. Okay, so ways to unplug from that stuff. Ways to decrease negative comparison. I would say don't do it. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're paying attention to. Pay attention to what you focusing and feeding off of. That's one way. Challenge your negative thoughts. Whenever you see something on TV, social media, you see accomplishment of a friend, a family, and things like that. If a negative thought come in your mind about, you will never be as good, or they got better this than you, like those negative thoughts start to come up, challenge those negative thoughts. That's when I say go back to your why. Go back to your faith. Go back to things that you've overcome. Those are ways, and then you tell those thoughts in your head, you allow, you speak out loud. You try to overturn those negative thoughts to positive thoughts. You check the validity of it. If you have a negative thought, a negative thought comes, say, you will never be as good. Then you can challenge that by telling yourself, I am good. I will make it. You can start pumping yourself up with positivity. Okay? So practice gratitude each and every day, or before you go to sleep at night. Think about what are some good things you done that day. What is something you can be proud of? What prayer has been answered that day? What good news you received that day? What breakthrough happened that day? What good report you got? So you reflect on the good things that happened that day instead of reflecting on the shortcomings. You reflect on the good stuff that happened that day. So that's how you practice gratitude. And when you get up in the morning, just telling God, thank you for another day. Today gonna be a good day. Good things are gonna happen to me, through me, and for me on this day. I'm gonna crush this day. You pumping yourself up with positivity. I'm gonna crush this day. Good things are happening to me on this day. So practice gratitude. Limit social media. And I know that can be tough for some people, because look, social media, that's how I promote my stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like if it's to the point to where it's unhealthy for you, you got to know your balance. You got to know your strengths and weaknesses. If you see you doing like a lot of doom scrolling is like you just got the phone in your hand, you just on the book scrolling. You are social media, any app, you just scrolling. You, instead of using that time to learn a new skill, using that time to do some type of physical fitness, using that time to exercise, journal, whatever it is, you just using that time just to scroll a book, just scroll that, and then that's giving your mind too much free play. Because it say an idle mind is a devil's workshop. You too much, your mind is open to, because you just on the book scrolling, or Instagram, whatever, TikTok or whatever, you just scrolling. You can be using that time for fulfillment, to learn something new, to spend time with a family member, to learn a new craft. That, because a lot of doom scrolling causes you to see things. These people putting out their best themselves on any app. They're not always telling you the hardship and the stuff that they putting out their best. So you a lot of time you feed into an illusion. So you got to be careful with a lot of doom scrolling, dead wasted time. That's what I call it. So limit a lot of your social media. Like I call it doom scrolling, unrealistic comparison, just down yourself, limit lots, a lot of stuff. You give yourself a time frame when you are going to use social media. Let that be more of a reward. Once you did all your assignments, or you did whatever you had to do for that day, okay, I'm gonna spend probably 30-40 minutes on social media engaging or whatever. Like, don't let that be your whole life, your whole day. Like, do other things, learn other things. There's a lot of things out here, you can be getting better on, you can be learning, things like that. So there are, and if you are, I always say to take up a class in something. Like, a lot of time they offer, even when on my timeline, I see different coaching opportunities, different like mastermind classes, stuff I became a part of by being on social media. So I am grateful for social media, because I've been able to build a lot of my skill set through taking a lot of classes. Some classes were free, some groups I joined was very productive for me. So it's how you use it too. It's how you use it. I've been able to meet great fellow content creators. A lot of them sewing back into me, they making purchases off me, so it's a good networking, building relationship. And that's what it should be about. It should be about networking and building, and then at the same time you working on your thing outside of social media. You got your goals and stuff. You got to bring that stuff to reality. Whatever you doing, it needs to come to reality. You got your goals. You working to better yourself. You limiting a lot of distractions. You working on strengths and weaknesses. You identifying strengths and weaknesses. So things like that. So you're always working to improve. You working to be better. And if there is a problem, you're working to try to change those issues. You working to try to be better. It's about getting better, doing better. You versus you. So that's what it's about, guys. Unrealistic comparisons. We got to be very mindful of that, because this is a technology, AI society. Everything is becoming more into media, technology. So we got to learn how to balance that stuff. We got to learn when, comparison. A lot of times people compare. A lot of people, they fall into depression because they think their life not like somebody else's life. So you gotta stay grounded. You gotta be like, if you gonna use social media, anything, stay grounded. Let it be about purpose. What's your purpose for whatever it is that you're doing? Create you some why goals. Why? What is your whys? What is some stuff that you want to live for? Things you want to do in your life. So create you some why goals. So that's what it is, guys. So be mindful of unrealistic comparison. Comparing yourself. And even when we look at the celebrities, I give an example. You see, they got their mansion, they got different designers and things like that. For the most part, a lot of that stuff be given to them. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of, they're promoting a lot of those products that ain't theirs. A lot of that jewelry might not be real. So it's like, it's an illusion. So we got to be very mindful of using them as comparison to overspending, indulging, engaging in things that's not really us. We changing up your character, changing up who you are to try to fit in and all that. All that is unhealthy comparison. You know, when you gotta be you. You gotta, it's ways to improve in a healthy way. You want to do things in a healthy way, not things that gonna turn around, it's gonna backfire. You know what I'm saying? You want to learn to get better, be realistic with yourself, know what you can and can't do, and better yourself in the things that you can't do. Use your resources, use people that's willing to help you, that's willing to help you get to become your full potential, get to the next level. So that's where it is, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and head up. I appreciate Joshua, anybody else who's watching. For watching, feel free to share this video. Y'all work on this. We got self-care weekend coming up, self-care Saturday, Sunday fun day. Y'all work on the hard stuff, the stuff that you know it's kind of keeping you in bondage, you know what I'm saying, to kind of work on those things so you can improve to get better. So I'm going to go ahead and head off, guys. I appreciate you, y'all. Check out my lifestyle blog at aprilblog.online. I'll put that in the comments once I get off. Guys, my latest story I did on shopping hacks, different ways to enhance your look and while on a budget. You know, you can look good. You know, it's the times we need to be more conservative with our money. We really do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the times we in. We need to be more conservative. We need to invest in things that's going to better our future. You got kids and things like that. Invest in some life insurance. And use your money for wise things. You know, college plans, anything like that. Talk to your financial providers. What's best? You know, because we in those perilous times right now. So that's why you want to You want to look good, but you don't want to put all your money in materialistic stuff. You know, learn how to spend some, save some, shop modest, and still look good. And you still can, you know, look decent, be professional. You know, and that's why I share a lot of the my shopping hacks and a lot of my style. I don't spend a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? I find I shop clearance. You know, a lot of stuff I still can fit in from years prior. I do things that, you know, that I can handle, I can afford. You know, I find good sales, good deals, things like that. Couponing is good. Buying stuff in bulks. You have to keep buying the same thing over and over again. Just finding different ways to scratch your funds and still maximize on, you know, what you need to optimize on. So things like that, like, you know, just plan for vacations, put back, invest. That's going to help us in the long run, guys. We got to kind of think differently how we spend our money, how we use our money. You know, when you getting lump sums, you want to think about future stuff. If you know, don't want to spend it all and things like that, you got to think about it because you're going to need that one day. You know, I always say that. And my daddy always just say, you're going to need that money one day. That money you wasted, you're going to need it. You know what I'm saying? And we in those days and time, and he's right. So we got to be more modest. So that's why y'all go check out that on shopping hacks. There's ways to do things on a budget. You still can shop, look good, but stay in your means. Live in your means, guys. That's the message. Live in your means and stop these unrealistic comparisons. So I'm going to go ahead and head up. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a happy Friday. Y'all go check out my websites, Styles for Me. I got my liquid matte still going. My sale still there. Y'all appreciate you guys. Have a happy, wonderful Friday, guys.